All right, let's talk about the literature review. If you're doing any kind of research, you've definitely run into this assignment. And, let's be real. It can feel like a total chore, right? But what if I told you it's not a chore at all? What if it's actually a research superpower, just waiting to be unlocked? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today.
I totally get it. Just hearing those words, literature review, can make you groan. It just sounds so tedious, maybe even a little pointless. You're probably thinking, so I just have to read a whole bunch of stuff and then write down what it all says? Look, if that's what you're thinking, you are not alone. But we are about to completely flip that script.
So let's bust the biggest myth right out of the gate. A lot of people think it's just a long summary, a boring list of books, a tedious chore. But that's not it at all. What it actually is a critical evaluation. It's you joining a massive ongoing conversation. And maybe best of all, it's a map that leads you to your own amazing discoveries.
So let's dive into the real mission here, because I promise you, once you get the why behind it, the how gets so much easier. Your real goal is way more ambitious, and honestly way more fun, than just summarizing what a bunch of other people have already said.
Okay, let's get a little formal for a second. Here's the textbook definition. Now, there are two magic words here that you really got to pay attention to: synthesized and evaluates. This is not about going source by source one after the other. It's about pulling ideas from all over the place, mashing them together, and creating a totally new understanding. You're not just a reporter here, you're the analyst.
I love this quote from Ashley Leeds and just nails it. The whole point is not to prove how many articles you checked off your reading list. Seriously, your professor doesn't want a receipt for your library time. They want to see how you think. It's all about the quality of your ideas, not the quantity of your sources. So why even do one? What's the practical point? Well, think of your field of study like a TV show that's been on for decades. You wouldn't just jump into the latest episode, right? You'd want to know the story so far. A lit review does that. It sets the stage, it stops you from accidentally reinventing the wheel, and, this is huge, it helps you figure out if your research question is actually original and exactly where it fits into this big ongoing story.
Okay, let's get into the #1 trap that almost everyone falls into. I call it the laundry list review. You know what I'm talking about? It's where your paper just goes, okay, Smith found this, then Jones argued that. After that, Brown discovered this other thing. See? It's just a list. It's totally disconnected, it's not a synthesis, and it completely misses the point of what you're supposed to be doing. Your job, your real job, is to be the architect here. You have to impose an intellectual order on all this stuff. You're not just presenting facts in the order you found them. No, you're the one who finds the patterns, reveals the connections, and even points out the contradictions. You're building the argument.
And one of the best ways to start building that structure? Group your sources into camps or schools of thought. Who agrees with whom? What are the main battle lines in the debate? Once you start grouping them, you stop talking about individual people, and you start talking about the big ideas and arguments that define your entire field. It's a total game changer.
The journey from that boring summary to a true synthesis is actually a pretty clear path. Think of it in 4 steps. First, yeah, you do have to summarize a source just to understand it. But then, step 2, you compare it. How does this fit with the other stuff I've read? Does it agree, disagree? Step 3, evaluate. Is this argument solid? Are there weaknesses? And finally, the magic step, synthesize. You combine all those pieces to create your own new big picture understanding of the topic.
Now, it's really tempting to think that research is just a straight line from A to B to C. But the reality? Oh, it's way messier than that. And that's a good thing. It's more of a cycle. What you read in the literature changes your topic, and your changing topic changes what you go look for in the literature. It's this awesome, dynamic dance.
And that brings us to something that is so important to get. Picking your topic, that is something you do before you start your research. Picking your topic is the research. You start with a fuzzy idea, you see what the literature says, and you sharpen and refine your idea based on what you find out. Let's make this real with an example. Say you start with a topic like reality TV. You type that in and boom, you're immediately drowning. There are thousands and thousands of articles. It's just way too broad. It's like trying to map the entire ocean. Okay, so you think I'll go super specific and you pick one show, like Bridezilla's. Well, now you've got the opposite problem. You went from an ocean to a tiny puddle. You might find some magazine articles, but you're not going to find enough scholarly research to have a real conversation with.
But as you go through that cycle of searching and refining, you find the sweet spot.
A topic like portrayals of marriage in wedding-themed reality TV. Ah, now that is perfect. It's focused enough that you won't drown, but it's broad enough that there's a real scholarly debate already happening that you can now join.
All of this hard work, all this searching and synthesizing, it all leads to the big payoff, making your own unique mark. This isn't just about understanding what other people did. It's about finding that little bit of empty space where you can contribute something brand new.
So as you read, here's a super practical way to think about it. You're basically sorting everything you find into 3 buckets. Bucket number 1. What does everybody pretty much agree on? You know, the conventional wisdom. Bucket 2. Where are the big fights, the major debates? Where do those different camps of researchers totally disagree? And then there's bucket number 3, and this is the gold mine. This is where you look for the gaps. What hasn't been asked yet? What's totally missing from the conversation? This right here is the blank spot on the map.
And that gap? That's everything. That is your invitation. That's your opportunity to ask a question no one's thought of, or bring in a perspective that's been overlooked. Finding that gap is what justifies your whole project. It's how you prove your research matters before you've even started it.
So you see, the literature review isn't some boring chore you have to get through. It's the powerful tool you use to draw the map of your entire field. It shows you the roads everyone takes. It shows you where the arguments are happening, and, most importantly, it shows you the blank spaces. So the only real question left is, now that you can read the map, what new territory are you going to go explore?